Hi, my name is Gary Byron. I am running to be our state party chair. I want to help shape the present and future direction of our state Republican Party, and I believe I have the skill set to accomplish this. A little bit about me. I am a former state representative. I won 2 terms, actually almost 3, in a very heavily dominant Democrat district of Newington. It was Democrat for 30 years prior to me. It's Democrat now. And I lost actually during the absentee ballot of 2018, only by 66 votes. Definitely winnable, folks. We can do it once, we can do it again. I'm also a former business owner. I started a company, an events company, when I was 18 years old, just sold it a couple of years ago. I think I asked the question, what made me so successful in my nearly 31 years in business? Quite frankly, it's the people that I chose to surround myself with. I have a knack for playing to people's strengths, tuning into that, putting people into positions where they're going to succeed, delegating responsibility, holding them accountable as well. And it helped my company to retain very prestigious corporate clientele year after year. Presently, I am a morning conservative radio talk show host. This is where I get to talk to a lot of the movers and shakers in the political arena. I certainly have on our House and Senate Republican leaders. State Senator Kevin Kelly joins me every other Thursday, and on those alternate Thursdays, Vinnie Candelora joins me. I also take open phones. Our listeners call in every hour, and this is where you really have to listen closely. These are the voters of Connecticut, most of which are Republican. They'll tell you what they think we're doing wrong. They'll offer advice. And they actually, believe it or not, our listeners want to be part of the answer. They want to be part of the solution, not the problem. And we know there's many different shades of red that we have to cast our net to. All shades of red are certainly welcome underneath the Republican tent. A very key responsibility when your name is on the show, as mine is every morning, Mornings with Gary Byron, is I meet and with advertisers. I also obtain advertisers. Quite a responsibility when I'm asking for people for high dollars, usually every 6 months, not even necessarily annually. And when I say high dollars, I'm syndicated on 5 stations throughout the state of Connecticut. So, it doesn't come cheap. And I want to make sure that every time that they see me, it's not, oh no, here comes Gary, he's asking for money again. But I cultivate these relationships. I take them out for dinner. I let them know where their dollars are going. I make them feel part of the conservative movement going on here in Connecticut. When they feel like they're part of the show, when they feel like their money is going to something worthwhile that they hold near and dear to their heart, not only do they give, but I get them to give more. These are just a few spokes that are part of this wheel that I talk about. You can't just have one spoke in your wheel that you're very good at. You need several spokes in order for that wheel to turn perfectly. And that's exactly what we need to do here in the state of Connecticut as Republicans. It's a multi-pronged responsibility, a multi-spoked responsibility to be the chair of the state Republican Party. I do believe I do possess those qualities. Please remember me and vote for Gary Byron for state party chair on June 22nd. Thank you for your time. God bless.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to the Connecticut Republican Assembly meeting this morning. I apologize for not being with you today. My family and I are celebrating the life of a dear close friend of ours, my daughter's godmother, who passed away earlier this year, and so I'm unable to be with you. I am a candidate for chairman, and I'm looking forward to leading our Republican Party. I'm running for chairman because I truly believe in our Republican Party. I truly believe in our Republican values and principles and beliefs. And I know that the Republican Party and our Republican candidates and our Republican elected officials better manage, better control, better run our government than Democrats do. And if the Republicans are in charge in the state of Connecticut, if we are running our government in the state of Connecticut, our state will be a much better place to live, work, and raise a family. I want to be chairman to undertake some drastic changes to the Republican Party. I want to change our foundation, our structure, our organization, our systems. Without changes to those core pieces of our organization, I don't believe we can be successful. We have any number of wonderful Republican organizations, much like the CTRA, throughout the state of Connecticut that need to come together, to work together, to remember that we are all Republicans. We all believe in Republican values and Republican virtues. We need to work together to get candidates elected from the Board of Education to mayors and first selectmen, to state reps, state senators, all the way up to Congress, United States Senator, governor, and every office in between. And I believe we can do that. But we can only do that if we are working together, we are united, and we are all committed to the cause of electing Republicans. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to work on a number of campaigns and to work with many of you in this room on different campaigns. I've had the opportunity to serve as the Connecticut coordinator for 3 presidential campaigns. I'm very proud of that fact. I've had the opportunity to work with a number of gubernatorial and U.S. Senate candidates, congressional candidates, as well as House and Senate candidates and various municipal office candidates. The coming year is going to provide us with a number of opportunities to excel, particularly at the federal level. Reapportionment is going to offer us an opportunity to become competitive in at least 1, if not 2 districts. We need to be ready for that. We need to be working closely with our House and Senate leaders to make sure that reapportionment works well for us. I've had the opportunity to serve as a staff director for a House reapportionment and as a consultant to the Senate for reapportionment. And I know that reapportionment can make a difference. But the way we do that is to build a solid, strong relationship with our House and Senate caucus so that we have a very strong, what I call 3-legged stool, where we are working together. We are developing information together. We are developing data together. We are developing our message together so that when we go out and talk to voters and listen to voters, we can deliver that message and talk about the issues that are important to voters. We can provide voters with solutions to the issues of their concern. It's important that we understand we need to talk less to voters and listen more to voters. We need to understand their issues. We need to understand where they're at in their lives and how we can help make those lives better using our values and our principles. I know our party is strong. I know our party is relevant. I know our party is right. We are right on the issues. We are right on the policies. We are right in the way we want to manage the state of Connecticut, the way we want to manage our towns and cities. So with that, I believe my background, my experience, my understanding of the Connecticut Republican Party, my understanding of the state of Connecticut, my understanding of the legislature and our town committees, having served as a town chairman, makes me tremendously well qualified to be the next chairman of the Connecticut Republican Party. I ask for your support and for the state central members, your vote on June 22nd. But more importantly, after June 22nd, I ask that we all come together, put aside whatever differences we may have on issues, and remember that we are all Republicans for the same reason, because we believe in our core values. We believe in our core beliefs and principles. And if we take those beliefs and principles and we present those beliefs and principles to the people of the state of Connecticut, I know we will be successful. I want to thank Dom and the entire CTRA board for allowing me the opportunity to do this video for you this morning. Again, I apologize for not being able to be with you, but it's far more important that my family and I attend this celebration for this very special woman. I can tell you this about Trudy Black. If we had more Trudy Blacks in this world, our world would be a much better place. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day today listening to other candidates and talking about how we can do better within our elections. And I wish you all much luck and success going forward.
The state party chairman can do a lot, and we have to be vocal, and we have to make our opinions heard. Our point of view needs to be supported, and we need to make the compelling case and show the contrast between us and the Democrats. CT 169 strong. I was with them, helping behind the scenes, going on the Sunday meetings. I think we always had meetings at 7 p.m. I joined some of those meetings. I was a part of some of the smaller meetings with Kim Fiorello, Maria Weingarten, who's been amazing with pushing CT 169 strong. I've helped out with them in a number of ways and brainstorming and messaging early on. And then I talked with Pat Sasser. I was on the phone with him 2 days ago. We were talking about the tax, we were talking about messaging, and we were talking about the approach to state. Pat's a great friend of mine. But I mean, we have to band together with those who are like-minded. You know, if we don't, we're only hurting ourselves. And to talk about groups in the state, there are Republican groups that are dying in the state. A perfect example is the National Federation of Republican Women. Connecticut is one of the founding states for the NFRW, and we are down to one chapter in Connecticut. In all the states I've worked in, all of them, and nationally, the NFRW is a booming organization of conservative women who get together constantly, who help campaigns and help push that ball down the field like I was talking about. We need to bring them back. I was on the phone with their president. I've worked with them. I've done so much with them. I love that group. And to see them not flourishing in Connecticut cannot happen. We need to bring back men's groups, and we need to make sure that the women's groups are there and supported and have engagement with the state party. I would have loved to have seen a press conference on the steps of the Capitol by the Republican Party highlighting that those doors have been closed to the public the entire time. And the mantra for the Democrats was literally, it's now or never. Get it in now or never. If you have legislation that you've been wanting to get passed, they tried to get removal of religious exemption passed for over 8 years. They did it this year. You know why? Because we were locked out. Families didn't get to come.
Yeah, they overwhelmed us with over 8,000 bills they had to vote on, which is an astronomical number.
So we need to do things like that. We need to be visible. And the lockdowns, you know, what I always found most insulting about the whole entire process is that governors throughout the country would say it's about what's essential and what's non-essential. And I'm sorry, but you know what? Whatever it takes for you to provide a roof over your family's head, food on the table, and safety, it's essential. And that means
that's a great message.
That's your work. How dare you tell someone that their livelihood isn't essential?
Exactly.
That's disgusting.
That I found, that was one thing I found extremely offensive.
It was heartbreaking to see that. It really was, because we know people suffered. We know families didn't get to see other family members. People died alone. That is disgusting. That is inhumane. I'm sorry, but God forbid, if that was my mother who was potentially dying alone, come hell or high water, I would have been breaking through that glass to get to her. That's heartbreaking. And you know, so many people wanted to do just what I'm describing, and they couldn't. I remember on election night getting a phone call telling me they just found 500, to quote the right number, I think it was 524 new ballots in Stamford. I said, well, that's impossible, because when you do absentee ballots, there's an output, the original output, and it is unchanging. Literally cannot change. There's a request in, there's an output out, and that's it. And then everything starts and blooms from there. And they said, Jen, we found 524 new ballots. That's what they're telling us. I said, well, that's, yes.
Were they same day votes or?
No, they were absentees, and they weren't sure, and everything was very confusing. And it took me 3 days to get the vote certified. I had to call in attorneys for 3 nights in a row. And you want to know what the issue was? You know, when it comes to voting and when it comes to election day and finally processing absentee ballots, we dealt with it in North Carolina all the time. Having those Republicans who are poll watchers, who are in the building, who are at the doors, ready to go in to witness, it's critical that we have those people available. So we have to be prepared. That's why I'm thrilled to know that there's $65,000 dedicated towards the absentee ballot program so that the state party can be prepared going into 2022 and test it in 2021. When I did Kim's race, I remember coming in June to sit down with the registrar of voters of Greenwich because I knew how big of a deal this was. And I said, we have to be ironclad from day one. No negotiating. This is a top priority. This has to be meticulous. And that's part of the issue with absentee ballots. It is the level of having to be so meticulous with the count, with the names, with the back and forth conversation, understanding what you can legally do in the realm of absentee ballots. What is a violation? What's not a violation? You really have to be hyper vigilant in that process. And there's a lot of details. The state party doesn't work independently of the RNC. We work together with the RNC. We're not just floating off in the ocean alone. We are a part of a bigger message. There's just no way around that. And if you operate as if you are, the end all be all, it's done. It really is. I don't really know how else to put that. It's not for you to decide what is and is not Republican. I don't know. So I'm Catholic, and I've actually I said on the radio on the Todd Feinberg show, I've been on Todd a couple of times, and Vinnie Pett and Lee Elsey. I will never apologize for being Republican, and I will never apologize for being Catholic. It's a non-negotiable. It's important that we see the bigger picture, because morality does come into play. There was a bill that they just discussed in the legislature regarding healthcare for illegal immigrants. And they actually said in the verbiage, in dialogue, we need to ensure the unborn child.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whoa, that's a big deal. Like, that is Pandora's box. Woo! Like,
that's what we've been asking for all along, right?
I was like, did they just say that? Did I just hear that? They just said that. So, it's convenient for them when it's convenient for them, but that's a big deal. And I know that the Family Research Council would be hopping all over that if I called them today.
I want to thank you and Mark for putting together a tremendous event. I want to thank all the attendees, all of them. Everybody stayed right to the end. They really want to hear what you said. And I certainly got comments from people. They regret that some of the other candidates could not be here in person, but I think you understood their reasons. Jim Campbell was, we did ask Jim to submit a video where everyone could at least get a flavor of him. He wasn't able to get that done, so I want everyone to know we asked. We invited everybody here and provided equal time. This is the first event that the Connecticut Republican Assembly has put on like this. We plan to do this more often as we give Connecticut voters a chance to contrast Republicans around the state. But we can't thank you enough, Jen, for putting yourself out there and running for this position. It's vital to the success. Like you said, we have less than 500,000 Republicans in Connecticut. We don't have the luxury of picking and choose who's a Republican, who's not. We have to herd them all together. It's going to be like herding cats. But you know what? I think we know that we all have more in common than what separates us. And we hope you or the other candidates, whoever's selected, we're going to be behind that candidate 100%. But we're also going to be reminding you what it is to be a Republican. We're going to remind whoever the chairman is. We don't want people. We are not a racist state. We are not going to tolerate Republicans who agree with that ludicrous statement. Mark, you did a great job.
Think of us as the conscience of the Republican Party, and like I said, one of our missions is to make sure that we have the right Republicans in office, and we will be holding probably more forums like this in the future, because one of our responsibilities as the Republican Assembly is to endorse candidates during primary season. So we're going to try to help our voters, figure out exactly who the best candidates are that will uphold the 13 principles that we stick true to as a Republican Assembly. So thank you, Dominic, for helping us put this together. Appreciate it.
Well said, Mark. And Jennifer, and to all the attendees today, go have a great weekend. Spend time with your family. Give them a hug and let them know that we are out there fighting for each and every one of you. Thank you again, and Godspeed.